For All Handkind is an artist collective founded by artists for artists. Our mission is to give new and emerging makers a platform to sell their handcrafted goods. For All Handkind really was a way for all of us to use our artistic talents and to really realize that we had the power to do all the things that we needed to start to sell our own products.
For All Handkind started with 3 glass artists who wanted to have a place to sell their things. Glass is a really interesting process in which you have to repeatedly experiment and play with the material. So you create a lot of objects. And for glass artists specifically, we make a lot of things and don't have very many places to sell them. So the original idea was to create a cool online space for glass artists to sell their one-offs. Eventually we decided to bring in different types of artists and create a space online and then eventually in store where craftsmen and artisans could sell their objects. And it's really spectacular because we're located in the mall right now, which means a lot of people who would be shopping for normally mass-produced objects get to come into a shop with like one-of-a-kind maker-made objects.
I was seeing makers all around me creating all these wonderful objects and going out into the world and trying to sell them other places, and recognized that we had a photographer, we had a graphic designer. We were able to write and produce ways to sell our work ourselves. It was really hard, or it can be really hard to sell things on your own, but once we all kind of came together and shared those talents, we were able to create this.
So we decided it was really important to include the sort of aspect of having each artist pick an organization to donate 5% of the sales to, because as artists, sometimes I think the 3 of us felt like in this day and age we really wanted to do something to impact the community or the world around us, but as makers sometimes you get really invested in the thing that you're making, and so by being able to sort of support an organization that you believe in through the creation of the objects that you're really passionate about making, that you could kind of start to bring those 2 things together. And so for All Handkind, even just with the name, we really felt like it was important to talk about how community is so important to all of us that make various artworks, objects.
In a world where machines are making everything from our cars to our coffee machines, it's really special and important to be having a place where people who use their hands to make shoes and glass and earrings and jewelry and lotions have a place to sell their objects. As makers ourselves, we know how important it is and how valuable it is. We're coming into a time where the only places to really buy maker things is online. Shops that are exclusively for handcrafted or vintage are really hard to come by at this time in history because things are getting so expensive. As makers, we know how important it is to be able to have a place to sell and to buy things and support your maker friends also.
When it started, originally, Kim had brought this idea up as a really passionate creative project to try to create something that as individual artists, sometimes it's really hard to have a space. And so for me personally, it's been an incredible experience for the last 2 years, getting to work with good friends to try to bring this project from just sort of something that you talk about as an amazing idea to something that now has actually 2 storefronts, and we've done tons of pop-ups. We've gone to even different cities to bring For All Handkind sort of outside of the Hampton Roads area. We've started it as a web store, so I've learned a lot about all of the things that it takes to kind of try to have a creative business.
For All Handkind has been really fun to me because I've loved to play in the branding and color and imagery of this place. We work with so many different artists that make a lot of things in different shapes and colors and textures. My role in the company so far has been to help create imagery that helps sell the objects through either social media or through our website or through posters or flyers. It's so fun to bring in all these people's work and put them together and arrange them and try to give them a life for the people who might eventually take them home. So that's really fun. I also love hanging out with my friends and making stuff and having a place to sell it.
For for me, it was really empowering to be able to start this project and to see it grow. And then also to know that me and my friends could take something from the ground up and really create the branding, do the photography, and sort of just make it happen slowly but surely.